Yo, what's going on, everybody? You are never responsible for someone else's actions. However, you are responsible for your actions. Have you ever heard the phrase that this person said something to me, and because they said this in that manner, they upset me? And so then in return, I said this and I reacted this way. I said that back. Let me say what I said earlier. I said repeat it. I'm about to repeat it again. You're never responsible for someone else's actions. However, you are responsible for your actions. What does that mean to you? Does that mean that it's okay for people to upset you, make you mad, and then in return, you get upset, you get mad, and you respond back how they responded to you? Is that what you think I'm saying when I make that statement? Because by all means, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you're not responsible for someone else's actions, but however, you're 100% responsible for your actions. No one should ever be able to provoke you to say or do anything that you're not willing to do. You're not a child. You're an adult. And I will say today, most teenagers or young kids got the internet. They're probably smarter than a 40-year-old. So they know exactly what I'm saying as well as I share this, that you are not responsible for someone else's reactions, but however, you are responsible for your own reactions. And where I want to go with this today is to share with you that you must learn to have self-control. I remember when I was in school, in elementary. Yeah, I went back to the elementary years. But I was in school and there was a little trend that was happening. And I don't remember what the trend was, but there was a lot of trends when we were growing up, right? Especially when you grew up in the 70s and 80s. There was no internet to share your trend. So we just saw somebody do it and then we started to do it, right? There was not, let's post it on the internet. Let's see what everybody's wearing. No, if someone wore it to school, they wore it to the playground, wore it at a friend's house. In order for you to mimic that trend, you had to see somebody physically do it. Well, in this scenario, everybody was physically doing this same trend, right? And because everybody was doing this same trend, everybody started doing the same trend, including myself. However, what happened with me is that one person got upset because the trend that started, my way of following a trend was a little bit more flashy than everybody else's. I don't know no other way to put it. Well, it's flashier than everybody else's. If you do it, I got to come back 3 more times with more flashiness with it. And that was the case, right? So we're all doing the same trend. This person wore it, then I wore it, but the way I did it was a lot more flashier. So then the person who started the trend and who they thought started the trend, they really didn't. But because they did it first, they felt like that I was trying to go above and beyond and make them look a particular way. It's at least what I remember at this point. They felt like the way I did it was trying to make them look a particular way. And that wasn't even the case. But anyways, y'all. So this person was upset with me. And so we're in the playground playing football. I used to love playing football in elementary school, y'all. It was the best thing since sliced bread. And I know some of y'all have some other sports that y'all like to play, but one of my buddies I used to go to recess with had a Nerf ball. And it's the Nerf ball that whistled. It was a big deal back then, but the ball whistled, right, when you throw it. And so when it's coming your way, you hear a little whistle, you know to look up because it's coming, and you put your hands out and just snatch the ball out of the air, right? And then you just pull the TO on somebody. A Terrell Owens is what I'm referring to. So anyways, though, so we lined up to play football. This person who started the trend. I thought they started the trend, came up to me and asked me a question about what I was wearing and asked me why did I try to do this and why did I wear this particular way, because they're the one that started it and I should do the same thing how they did it. This person got in my face. So I got back in their face. This person started yelling at me. So I started yelling at them. And then a shouting match went from a pushing match. The pushing match went to a fighting match, and then we ended up fighting. No, the teachers didn't see it, so I didn't get in trouble. No one knew except for me and this person and a few other people we were playing football with or getting ready to play football with. But my response wasn't the greatest because they reacted a certain way. I reacted the same way. In return, just as worse. Right? Now, in some cases, should I have reacted that way or should I not? Is the question. And now that I think about it, I shouldn't have. I should have just laughed it off and walked away or what have you. And I know some of y'all think like, well, I'm not going to let somebody punk me in front of people. And I'm not going to let somebody look like that they taking advantage of me and I'm weak. And none of that stuff really matters, y'all. It does not. Being weak doesn't matter because the loudest person in the room is the weakest person in the room. I want y'all to know that. Okay. Understand that, live that, and be that person. Don't be the loud person. Okay. Because that means you're weak. Right. So I shouldn't have handled it the way I did, but I did because my pride was big. And the point I'm going with this and I'm making is that in certain scenarios, we don't have to respond back to someone the way they responded to us. We can find a better way to respond, or we could not respond at all and walk away, which is what I probably should have did. So me and this person was pretty cool before that happened, but because we had the pushing and fighting match, now we're enemies on the playground. Now we became enemies in the classroom. Now we're enemies now, and now cliques are saying, don't talk to him, don't talk to him. Let's all fight him, and let's not all fight him, and let's do this and let's do that. It just blew up to be a elementary scenario. Y'all know what that means, right? An elementary scenario. And it didn't have to go that far because it was over a stupid trend that was nobody's trend. No one owned the trend. Someone saw one person do it. They did it. And then 17 other people followed. That's all it really was. Right. But back to what I said earlier, you're not responsible for somebody else's actions. However, you are responsible for your own actions. Sometimes you don't have to respond the way people expect you to. Which I'll tell you now, me being a lot more mature in this world, you should never respond the way people want you to respond. You should never do the things people want you to do. You should think logical before you respond and make sure it's the best response to support you and support those around you. That way you don't end up doing something you shouldn't have not done. How many of us have did something and then a week later we regret that we did that and we look back and say, I overreacted. And then the first thing we say is, well, I overreacted because you overreacted, right? Now we're putting the blame back on somebody else. And let me say this, y'all, when someone reacts a certain way towards you and then you turn around and react as well, you're no better than that person now, because at the end of the day, no matter who started it, y'all both reacted like y'all shouldn't have. Both of y'all. So y'all both at fault now. It's not this person's fault. It's not her fault. It's not his fault. It's not their fault. It's everybody's fault because you responded erratically and you didn't have to and you didn't need to. Right? And so we have to be very careful about how we respond back to people when they respond back to us. Your response should never trigger or warn another response. It doesn't have to, right? Your response should pretty much shut it down. And that response might be silence. That response may be a positive response. Like, hey, I know you're frustrated with what you think you thought I said, but what did you hear what I said? And allow me to respond or share with you what I shared with this person who said I responded a particular way and I shouldn't have, or what have you. right? There's a way to clear up anything, but how you do that is with a different response that doesn't respond back to a person's anger, respond back to a person's verbal abuse or whatever you want to call it, right? You don't have to respond back that way. So if someone comes and responds to you a particular way, doesn't mean you have to respond back at all in any manner. You just walk away. I mean, there's been several scenarios where I walked away. I'm a smart man these days. And I want to say we were in a store, and it was probably about a year or two ago. And it was a guy who walked up, and I think he thought I said something to him, but I wasn't talking to him. I was talking to, I think it was one of my kids or somebody I was talking to. Trying to recall the scenario, but it's been a minute. But anyways, I wasn't talking to him, so he thought I was talking to him. And so because he thought I was talking to him, he's like, "Who you talking to?" And I knew by his response, he thought that what I said was toward him, and I knew that it wasn't. I didn't even respond back to him. I just kept looking at the clothes I was looking at because I felt like no matter how I responded to him based on how he responded to me, it was not going to be a good scenario or a good ending. So I just put my head down and kept looking, and eventually he just walked away. And I think he realized that I didn't say anything to him. He thought that I did, but I did not. So you don't have to respond to any bad scenario. But some of us likes to add fuel to the fire. And so what we do is when someone responds in a particular way, we respond back in the way we shouldn't respond because it sparks more flames. Now the fire grows. Now the fire lasts 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 4 years, 8 years, and then so on. That's how fires keep going. It's like forest fires. When they start, they get all these firefighters from all these different regions, states, countries, whatever to help put out the fire because it's grown to be that big. Because now one department can't put it out on their own because it's a widespread fire. And because it's a widespread fire, they need additional firefighters from all over the world to help put this fire out because that's how big it has become. And I want to use the California fire for an example because that fire burned for months and months, and it became this huge ordeal where it didn't just impact the middle class or the lower class people, it impacted the higher class people. It hit homes where movie stars, rappers, and entrepreneurs lived at, and it became a huge deal, and they couldn't put the fires out. And there was these like I said, these famous people going online crying, saying I lost everything and my world is upside down and I don't know how I'm gonna rebound from this. And everybody's looking like, bro, aren't you a millionaire? Can't you just go but rebuy everything you lost? I mean, in our mind, that's what we thought. But to them, in their mind, they lost everything that they had worked for, which it makes sense. But do you want a disagreement with somebody to turn into a California wildfire? Or do you want to be one of those things that want to just go out? And some of y'all might got mixed emotions about that question because even though we know what the right thing is to do, some of us still want to do the wrong thing, no matter what. It's like being a kid. Your parents say, don't touch the fire. You know your parents are saying it for a reason. You know that it means something. But when they're not looking, you touch the fire because you want to know how it feels. And then when you get the owie on your hand, then you know never to touch that fire again because you know you're going to get another owie. That's how responses are. They're like wildfires. And if you want a response to keep burning and burning and burning and burning until it burned down 100+ acres, keep responding negatively. And you'll get exactly what you want. But if you want the wildfire to go out today, you don't want to even start, don't respond back. So again, let me remind you, you're never responsible for someone else's actions However, you're 100% responsible for your actions. Hey, y'all, thank y'all for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate it. If you have not followed the podcast, make sure you hit the follow button. When you do, you never miss a moment to be wired the way you think. Don't forget to check out my website. It's www.rewirethewayyouthink.com. And I do got a question or a big statement about my website. If someone is interested in sending me a video a testimonial video of how my podcast has changed your life or it has helped you rewire the way you think, send me an email at jewatki1@gmail.com and we'll discuss how long the video should be. And then I'll get uploaded to my website. If you have not followed me on Instagram, make sure you do so. It's Fast Forward Mindset Podcast. If you're struggling today with thoughts of suicide, thoughts of hurting yourself or someone else, please don't hesitate to call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 988. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help you wire the way you think. And as I always say, if your mindset isn't making you money, it's costing you way too much. And that's my 2 cents in it, y'all. Peace. Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. And remember, don't rewind your life, fast forward it. Until next time, keep moving forward. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help you wire the way you think. All right, y'all. Peace.